Today I am going to continue your topic hegemony as soft power. It would, however, be a mistake to see US hegemony in purely military and economic terms without considering the ideological or the cultural dimension of US hegemony. This third sense of hegemony is about the capacity to manufacture consent. Here, hegemony implies class ascendancy in the social, political, and particularly ideological sphere. Hegemony arises when the dominant class or country can win the consent of dominated class by persuading the dominated class to view the world in a manner favorable to the ascendancy of the dominant class. Adapted to the field of world politics, this notion of hegemony suggests that a dominant power deploys not only military power but also ideological resources to shape the behavior of competing and lesser powers. It means, in another word, we can say that dominant powers, it means more stronger nation try to influence or shape the mind of the weaker nation in such a way that they follow the ideology of the dominant nation. The behavior of the weaker countries is influenced in ways that favor the interest of the most powerful country. In particular, its desire to remain preeminent, consent, in other words, goes hand in hand with and is often more effective than coercion. It means without suppressive others to mobilize or influence the weaker countries without using hard power. The predominance of the US in the world today is based not only on its military power and economic powers but also on its cultural presence. Whether we choose to recognize the fact or not, all ideas of the good life and personal success, most of the dreams of individuals and societies across the globe, are dreams churned out by practices prevailing in 20th century America. America is the most seductive and in this sense the most powerful culture on earth. This attribute is called soft power, the ability to persuade rather than coerce. Over time, we get to use to hegemony that we hardly notice it any more than we notice the rivers, birds, and trees around us. You could not have forgotten Andrei and his school pair of blue jeans when his parents were youngsters in the Soviet Union. Blue jeans were the ultimate symbol of liberation for their generation. Young men and women often spent over a year's salary to buy blue jeans from foreign tourists on the black market. Somehow, for an entire Soviet generation, blue jeans came to represent aspirations of the good life that were not available in their own country. During the Cold War, the US found it difficult to score victories against the Soviet Union in the realm of hard power. It was in the area of structural power and soft power that the US scored notable victories. It means America knew very well that by using hard power, by using military power, can't operate or suppress the power of the Russia. Therefore, To mobilize the people of the Russia, America used structural power and soft power to influence the people of the country and try to dominate over Russia. Although the Soviet centrally planned economy provided an alternate model of internal economic organization, the world economy throughout the Cold War years remained a world capitalist economy, but it was in the area of soft power that the US was ultimately victorious. As the example of blue jeans in the Soviet Union clearly shows, the US was able to engineer a generational divide in Soviet society on the basis of a cultural product. In short form, we can say that hegemony as soft power is about the capacity to manufacture consent. Hegemony implies class ascendancy in the social, political, and ideological spheres. Number two, hegemony arises when the dominant class or country can win the consent of dominated class by persuading the dominated classes to view the world in a manner favorable to the ascendancy of the dominant class. All ideas of good life and personal success are churned out by practices prevailing in 20th century America. In my next topic, I am going to provide you about constraints on American power. It means restrictions on American power. History tells us that empires decline because they decay from within. Similarly, the biggest constraints or restrictions to American hegemony lie within the heart hegemony itself. We can identify three constants on American power. None of these constants seem to operate in the years following 9/11. However, it now appears that all three of these constants are slowly beginning to operate again. The first constant is the institutional architecture of the American state itself. A system of division of powers between the three branches of government places significant brakes upon the unrestrained and immoderate exercise of America's military power by the executive branch. It means legislative and judiciary control the executive branch. Therefore, executive couldn't utilize the power in an arbitrary manner. The second constraint on American power is also domestic in nature and stems from the open nature of American society. Although the American mass media may from time to time impose or promote a particular perspective on domestic public opinion in the US, there is nevertheless a deep skepticism regarding the purposes and methods of government in American political culture. This factor in the long run is a huge constant on US military action overseas. It means, in another word, we can say that there the media and people are very alert. Therefore, they time to time criticize the work mode of the government and control over the military. However, it is the third constant on the US that is perhaps the most important. There is only one organization in the international system that could possibly moderate the exercise of American power today, and that is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The US obviously has an enormous interest in keeping the alliance of democracies that follow the market economies alive and therefore it is possible that its allies in the NATO will be able to moderate the exercise of US hegemony. In summarized form, we can say that how power of America is restricted. Institutional architecture is first. American state itself possesses constraint on American power. Number 2, a system of division of powers between the three branches of government places significant brakes upon the unrestrained and immoderate exercise of America's military power by the executive branch. Number 3, domestic constants. There is a deep skepticism regarding the purposes and methods of government in American political culture. And number 4, NATO can moderate the exercise of American power today. In my next audio video clip, I will provide you information about India's relation with the US.